That was Graveside Confessions by Carnifex, and now I am joined by the band Scott Ian Lewis. Welcome to Knotfest. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I'm
Absolutely.
really
Thank you
excited.
so much for joining. I mean, first off, before we get into the music and all the exciting stuff that's going on, I have to ask, how's Arthur the Skeleton doing over there? He's showing up all over the place.
He's doing pretty great. And to be honest, I'm glad to see him out and about in the world. He'd been in my head for a while. So I'm excited that he's living life now.
I'd love to know a little bit about him being in your head and then actually coming to fruition and being out in the world. Did you ever think that this sad skeleton artwork would kind of turn into what it has? People absolutely love him.
Well, to be honest, no, I really kind of didn't. When we were making it, obviously we're really focusing on the themes of the album and being very serious and artistic and all that stuff. And then you kind of get to after the fact, and then you're like, oh, I guess it's kind of funny if you think about, if he's doing this or he's doing that. I think it started with someone says like, "Oh, it looks like Drake's views from the six," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. It does, doesn't it?" And then from there, it was just like he was everywhere.
That's amazing. I've never thought of that comparison, but as you say, and just the way things have naturally kind of developed with him being plopped everywhere, it's just like that Drake cover. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was funny when we saw that. We're like, "We got to run with that one. It's too good."
Well, I'm really happy to hear that he's doing all right. And as I mentioned, there's a lot to dive into. So we have to start off with the fact that you'll soon be releasing album number 8, Graveside Confessions. So does it feel a little surreal that you're so close to finally unleashing all of these songs, or are you just over the wait now and you just want to drop them all now?
Uh, it feels surreal, to be honest with you. It was a really long year and a half, and we threw ourselves into the record for just sanity's sake. And we really tried to put a lot of vulnerability and a lot of raw realness in the record, and I believe in it. Like, there's a lot of truth in that record that I hope is going to connect with people on a profound level. So it's kind of like nervous excitement. I really want people to take these songs in, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I hope it's what people are hoping for, what people want, just because we've been so disconnected that, it's just a different feel this time around. So I feel like a lot's riding on it.
With it being such an immensely personal album, I know that means so much to all four of you in the band, how you really just shared moments of love, fear, and pain on the release, being very vulnerable on it. So, did that make it a difficult record to write in a sense, or was it more so therapeutic because of that?
It was both. It's like therapy. You go, you sit on the couch, you cry, you look ugly, you feel embarrassed, and you say things that you wouldn't say to anyone else. That's kind of what the record is. But when you leave, you're like, man, I feel better. Like, I got that off my
Yeah.
chest. I needed to say it, and I said it to a person that got it or was able to communicate and have a dialogue with me about it. And that's really what the record is. It was our therapy. And I hope it's other people's therapy as well.
I feel like that's always the case when a song can be so vulnerable, especially an entire record. People seem to connect to it more the more genuine it is. So even from the singles you've shared, kind of going through the lyrics and just really bonding with them as well for myself personally, I definitely think it's
Hmm.
going to be other people's therapy too.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. That's my hope.
Of course. And it's been really interesting in general just to kind of see the genre of deathcore evolve over the years as you are a deathcore original. So, what are your thoughts on the current wave of deathcore and just the current state of it all?
I think it's pretty amazing, if I'm being honest. I can think back to when we started, and we faced a lot of obstacles. We were really discouraged often from being a deathcore band back in those early days. And I guess that's what it means when you're on the front lines. You take a few more casualties, but the fact that they had 15, 16 years, and you're seeing bands like Lorna Shore, Brand of Sacrifice, Slaughter to Prevail, really running with it, and not only running with it, but like they're getting eyes
Oh,
on
yeah.
them. People are giving them a chance and embracing them, and it's like that's the breakthrough that this genre has always needed. So for us to be here and to see it happening, to me, it just feels good. It feels like it's about time.
It's so exciting because you can listen to bands who have been here from the jump, people who are still creating music, and then these newer, younger bands who are doing it. And honestly, it's been wonderful to be featuring them on this show and discover them all at the same time because they're so good and it's so different from majority of things out there at the same time. So it's definitely really wonderful to hear your stance on it too, and just how much you're a champion of all of the newer stuff out there.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we've toured with a lot of these bands for a long time, and Lorna in particular, and to see them just take the rocket ship to the moon, it's like,
Yes.
yes,